Following the events of The Phantom Menace, Anakin Skywalker was reluctantly accepted into the Jedi Order and was allowed to be trained by the newly knighted Obi-Wan Kenobi. Although the transition from being a slave to becoming a Padawan learner of the Sacred Order was a tremendous improvement in Anakin's quality of life, it wasn't a life that brought him as much happiness as he initially thought it would. As for the first few years at the Jedi Temple, Anakin lived quite a depressing and lonely life. He literally didn't have a single friend for much of his childhood and teenage years during his Jedi training, and it got so bad that even Obi-Wan and the High Council took notice of this and were concerned. And there were a few reasons as to why this was, with the main one being that Anakin was unable to relate to any of his fellow peers due to his past and unique gift in the Force. While nearly every other Jedi at the temple had lived there since they were mere infants, Anakin's past was nowhere near as innocent, having spent much of it as a slave. As such, no one in his class could understand the subtle pain that underlined Anakin whenever touchy subjects were talked about during lectures. While the Jedi were taught of the cruel injustices that happened in the galaxy, Anakin was the only one who had lived through it among his peers. When his slave past became apparent among his classmates, a few of them would use it against him through name-calling and other teasings whenever he got on their nerves, which in turn would only anger Anakin more and cause him to distance himself even further from everyone. Although his fellow classmates were unable to relate to the pain his past brought him, on the other hand, Anakin was unable to relate to their struggles either when it came to Jedi training. Having the strongest connection to the Force ever recorded and being the chosen one, Anakin was a prodigy that was able to speed through all of his lessons with complete ease. Exercises that took regular students years to master, Anakin was able to perfect in half a fraction of the time, and this was especially the case when it came to lightsaber training and combat simulations. However, him speeding through and excelling through all of his lessons didn't mean he was allowed to advance to the next stages, as the High Council decided to not grant him any special treatment and that he must go through the standard training exercises as everyone else. This resulted in Anakin being left in the same classes where he had to witness his fellow classmates attempt to accomplish the same exercises that he had already overcome with complete ease. While the High Council probably hoped Anakin would humble himself and attempt to assist his classmates in accomplishing their own tasks, in reality, all it left him with was a sense of complete and utter boredom, to which he would regularly show off his skill to the rest in his classes, which of course caused even more of his peers to dislike him. Having no friends and not being challenged in the lessons he was given, Anakin spent much of his time alone within his temple room, constructing droids and other mechanical machines. It was the only thing that brought him happiness, as it gave him a mild challenge and reminded him of home and his mother on Tatooine. He also on occasion would sneak out of the Jedi Temple and embark on many adventures within the lower levels of Coruscant, usually looking for parts to bring back to his room to use on his droids. He once even participated in an illegal garbage pit race that took place in the shadier parts of the planet. Around this time, Obi-Wan was walking through the greenhouse garden room that was within the temple, and he noticed a bunch of Padawans playing games with each other. He looked over, hoping to see Anakin, only to not find his Padawan anywhere nearby. He then quickly realized how he had never actually seen Anakin interact with any of his classmates in a friendly manner. Feeling bad that his Padawan was unable to befriend anyone, Obi-Wan later brought this up with the High Council. They too were concerned with Anakin's antisocial ways, as they feared it would lead to trouble in his later life. At this point, both Obi-Wan and the Council were aware of Anakin sneaking out of the temple and exploring the streets of Coruscant. While this was strictly against the rules for a Padawan to do without the permission of their master, both Obi-Wan and the Council decided to let it slide, as they knew it was likely among the few things Anakin enjoyed doing, though he did get in trouble with the illegal garbage pit race. Even Anakin's relationship with Obi-Wan wasn't that great at the beginning, as for the first few years together, Anakin always had a feeling that the only reason Obi-Wan was spending time with him was because of the promise he made to Qui-Gon, and not because he actually cared for him. This was of course untrue, but Obi-Wan wasn't that great of a teacher in the start of their relationship, as he was completely inexperienced. For example, rather than opening up to Anakin during tough times of their relationship, Obi-Wan would rather keep to himself, as he was afraid of saying the wrong thing to his Padawan. While this was done out of being overcautious on Obi-Wan's part, to Anakin it came across as his master not caring about him. Though things did eventually get better for Anakin once he reached the later years of his teens and began to go on actual Jedi missions. By then, he had befriended a few other Padawans that he had worked alongside with on missions, like True Veld, who became his first actual friend within the Jedi Order. His relationship with Obi-Wan also became much better, as they both became more open with each other, leading to the deep bond they would have by the start of the Clone Wars. Before we end the video, we want to give a special shout out to Patricia Watwood for letting us use her artwork for the video. Be sure to check out her personal website where her other work is hosted, as well as workshops and private classes for those who wish to learn oil painting. She also has an Instagram page where she regularly updates with her latest artwork, so be sure to check that out as well. Links to both sites will be in the description below. Thanks for watching this video. Help support the channel by becoming a member on our Patreon page, and be sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. And as always, may the Force be with you.